Are you pregnant? Having a crisis? Whatever you do, don't visit a crisis pregnancy center. It's a trap. Imagine this. Your father has a heart attack and you're physically blocked from taking him to the emergency room because a barrel of monkeys is jumping around the sidewalk yelling that heart attacks are natural and beautiful. You'd be justifiably pissed off, right? Now imagine your father is persuaded to skip the ER and go to a crisis heart center that dangles bogus alternative heart attack options in appointment after appointment, and he misses the chance to have a life-saving bypass operation. You probably can't imagine that because we wouldn't allow it. There's a very good reason that we don't allow just any yahoo off the street to throw up crisis medical centers for heart disease, diabetes, or cancer, because it would be medically and ethically disastrous, and also totally bonkers. And yet, in thousands of unregulated facilities all across America, taxpayer-funded religious groups are tricking people into carrying pregnancies to term against their will at so-called crisis pregnancy centers. Sounds like an outrageous conspiracy theory, doesn't it? But this isn't a dispatch from an alternative timeline where A Handmaid's Tale is this close to becoming a reality. If you're pregnant or just seeking family planning advice, don't be fooled if someone offers you a free medical consultation at one of these places. Their names might be benign, but the mission of these organizations is anything but. Crisis Pregnancy Centers, or CPCs, are funded by rabid anti-choice bigots. The agenda? Prevent people from exercising their legal and moral right to determine whether a pregnancy is right for them. Now, if you buy into anti-choice propaganda, you might think there's an abortion clinic in every strip mall right next to the Target and the Starbucks. You know, grab a unicorn frappuccino, some dish soap, when you might as well get a quick abortion while you're running errands. But in reality, there are less than 600 facilities in this country where a pregnant person can terminate a pregnancy. 600 clinics to serve a country of over 300 million people. Let that sink in a minute. There are currently 6 states that have exactly one clinic to serve all of their residents. Contrast that with over 1,500 CPCs. CPCs work with the abortion protesters who harass patients outside of bona fide women's health clinics. They claim to provide options and support. What they actually do is deny people access to licensed healthcare personnel and legitimate family planning advice. If they do provide anything, it's lies about so-called abortion regret, abortion risks, and maybe a bag of diapers and a dollar store teddy bear. If they can't persuade a pregnant person to forego a termination using their tricksy non-facts, CPCs often resort to stalling. They make patients come back over and over again for medically dubious advice until an abortion is no longer an option. Remember those 600 abortion clinics we mentioned? Well, only a handful perform late-term abortions after 21 weeks. So for many, what used to be a challenge, finding a facility within a reasonable distance to secure a pregnancy termination, is now an impossibility. CPCs pull the wool over the eyes of every pregnant person who walks through their doors, but the groups who are the most vulnerable are folks who don't have an abortion clinic anywhere near them, folks who are misled into thinking that a CPC is a viable alternative, and non-native English speakers for whom the American healthcare system can be a complicated mess to navigate. Well, actually, the American healthcare system is a complicated mess for everyone to navigate, but that's a whole other topic. These diabolical centers exploit the uncertainty and social pressure so many women feel about making the choice that's best for them, all in the name of a so-called pro-life movement that actually doesn't care a bit about the lives of the people they damage. This is a national health emergency. There's an anti-choice misinformation campaign, and it needs to be denounced every time it rears its head. Visibly, vocally, and financially support pro-choice organizations like Planned Parenthood, NARAL, Lady Parts Justice League, and the National Network of Abortion Funds, groups that offer real support and real options. Get involved with your local pro-choice women's health centers and reproductive justice organizations. Take a stand to help outlaw crisis pregnancy centers and facilities like them. There is a crisis here. It's one that these so-called crisis pregnancy centers have helped to create. Thank you for watching. Please share the Freak Show with all of your friends, and remember, your donations are what help us keep going.